promise you I done sold.
People will sell their soul. Women will sell their body. They will cut your throat. And you will never know. They will sell their soul. And women will sell their body. They will cut your throat. And you will never know.
All right, y'all. We here again. It's on Creative Collection.
Yes,
And
sir.
how's everybody feeling today?
Wonderful.
We good, blessed.
Yeah. So we here for another episode of What Could Make It Better. We're gonna get into some good topics today. And this episode is called Snatched by Inspiration. We have our special guest with us, Khadijah, aka Snatched Mind. She's into many great things. And I want to shout out all the sponsors and stuff like that. We're gonna put them up on the screen. Anybody got anything to say before we get started?
I'm excited. I'm ready to go.
All right, Squeaky.
I'm ready to get my mind snatched. Let's get it.
I feel that. All right, so Khadijah, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself because I know you got a few things you could speak on.
Yeah. Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace, blessings, and mercy be unto you. What's up, everybody? My name is Khadijah Tou Tou, and I am the Chief Operating Officer of Howard Hughes Consulting, as well as, the Snatched Minds is a platform that, you know how you have one of those platforms where you think about it, and people were more interested in the journey than they were the business aspect of me. So I just was like, you know what? Let's just, sometimes you have to go with what your audience wants, right? And so that's kind of where there was a major switch, even in the middle of us saying that we were interviewing, right? I was Madam President Khadijah and then changed it to Snatched Minds, but it was because I realized, I was like, you know what? On my adult platforms, it's more about inspiration. Whereas, when I'm working with children and stuff, it's something totally different, which is like a totally different, you get a different version. So yeah. So we're out here snatching minds and helping people with their mindset and just getting people to go through their journey easier. And
Yeah, I
life
feel
easier.
like it's very relatable when you decide to not necessarily escape the business lifestyle and everything like that. You still got it in the pocket, but it's more relatable for people to see who's the person behind the scenes doing the business. Like how did you obtain that attitude? How did you get that strength to go through these things and to focus and have this discipline and all this stuff? It's more relatable and it's more of a learning process. So that's probably why people cling towards, what you're doing, exercise and what you're doing spiritually and stuff like that, because they're trying to figure out what that attitude is about and how to acquire it in some way. So that's great. It's good that you found and you paying attention to the people that you work with that much where oh, they like this more. This will get them moving more. Okay, let me work with what they got. So that's really good. All right, so this is Creative Collection here. We like to talk about, what can make it better. And we basically just ask questions pertaining to what can make things better in the world, one person at a time, one issue at a time. It could be very small, it could be very incremental, it could be very big and everything like that. So we're gonna start the questions and stuff. Does anybody have anything to say before we get into the questions? And who would like to ask the first question? It could be any of us. If
I'll go.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So the first question is, what are your keys to consistency and motivation?
Oh, what are my keys to consistency and motivation? To just do it. Like Nike, you have to choose something that you like. I think so often we want to follow trends and we want to follow what other people are doing versus what we like. Some people, when it comes to consistency is formed by habit, right? So like breaking it down, and after you form that habit, and just the habit is doing the same thing over and over again. And one of the things that I noticed is, specifically, I'm going to speak about our community, is when it comes to consistency, And it comes to doing something in repetition over and over and over again. It might be good the first go around, might be good the second go around, might be good the third go around. But then when it comes to that fifth, that sixth, that seventh, that's kind of where things can tend to fall off. So I don't really believe in motivation anymore. I used to when I was a motivational speaker, but I stopped because I was like, I'm not here to motivate you. I am not about to do that. You better go listen to somebody else. But if you want to learn a technique, if you want to learn a strategy, if you want to learn, like, how can we hold each other accountable to make this thing happen? Because a lot of the times you just don't desire it enough. And that's why, it's not consistent. Or sometimes, like, for example, sign up for a half marathon in November. Well, I don't have a choice because my face is too, I'm a little prissy and I care about how I look, and using that to my advantage is like, I got to be consistent with the workouts. I got to be, because this is the goal, right? And in order to get to this goal, so setting effective goals for you. And that's where getting to know yourself is going to be important. So in terms of consistency and motivation, it's just forming that habit and making sure that you're doing that over and over and over again and taking each day, day by day. And in terms of motivation, it's just a matter of you got to, regardless to how you feel, you got to push through anyways.
Right. So what would you say is like the first step to forming good habits or replacing a negative habit with a positive habit? Like, what's the first step?
So the first step I would say to forming a good habit would be to, like I said before, pick out what you like, because there's something that you like about it. So let's even say it's something that you don't want to do, right? You're
Yeah.
like, I really don't want to do this, but I have to do this, right? So for example, let's say you got to memorize a bunch of information, or you have to do something for work where you have to, like for work, I'll give you an example. I have to memorize a whole apparatus of different things and clauses and all these different things, right? And I really don't feel like doing it, but as chief operating officer, I have to. Now, my face and my ego, I have a little ego, I can admit that. My face is super important for me. How I look is super important for me, not even in a physical way, but in a mental and spiritual way, because I'm around a lot of millionaires and billionaires, right? And there's a certain way of thinking. And being, most of the time, I'm the only woman in the room and the only Black woman in the room, right? So having that that's a lot of pressure in my opinion, but I'm used to it because I'm used to always being the only person in there. And so when it comes to forming that habit, you have to look at where you want to be and not necessarily where you are. So look at where you want to be. Don't be so far in the future that you get anxiety, right? Because I balancing that anxiety and depression where you're looking back because you're not necessarily where you want to be, but you're looking in the past, and then you're all the way in the future. Look at that as inspiration of like, okay, this is where I want to be. I'm not there yet, but these are the steps that I know that I need to take that are necessary in order to form that habit. So when you have that bigger picture of who you want to be, just keep looking at that. And the importance of vision boarding. I think vision boarding is important because it gives you that picture. We're 3D beings, 4D, 5D, whatever beings. So us seeing something physical in front of us to help us assist in that is going to be important in that process.
Yeah, that was good. Thank you.
Yeah, that was definitely good. I definitely, yeah, I definitely feel like you gotta hack your brain a little bit to be consistent. Cause like you said, it's gonna be different things that you gotta do that you don't want to do in the middle of it. I just came to a point because I actually said something about this. I actually posted about this recently, and I'm just like, yo, you just gotta accept them incremental moments of discomfort and frustration. Because when you doing these things, like you said, you might like working out or something like that, or you might like doing things that are more pleasurable. But when it comes down to like technical work and stuff like that, you gotta just endure the frustration, because you're gonna be sitting there with a computer and you're gonna be like, yo, oh, the computer just restarted everything. Oh, I just typed up this and it went away. Oh, the internet went down. Oh, I gotta read this again. Oh, I gotta do this again. I gotta do this process again. I can only imagine, because I'm doing courses right now and I'm highly annoyed with it. But at the end of the day, I know it's gonna get me where I want to get. So I'm just like, all right, I gotta sit here for 3 hours, 4 hours and do this before I go to work out or whatever the case may be. You gotta pack your brain a little bit and not worry about what you're doing. You kind of just got to worry about what's going to happen after the result a little bit, I guess. I don't know. But yeah.
Absolutely. And I want to even add to that is like, being able to control that emotion that comes across you is important, because when that reaction versus that response is going to be two different things. And that's why I always say, so I want to segue into a little story real quick. So I lived in Shanghai, China for 5 years, right? And I was teaching English there. Well, I faced a lot of discrimination, a lot of racism, like in blatant racism. Like, I'm not talking about the kind of, there was prejudice and then there was racism, and then there was a lot of different obstacles to navigate through in terms of like who I was. And I was like, damn, I really am Black. Like, not that I didn't know that before, but when you get that kind of like stuff thrown at you, like, oh, we're not going to hire you because you're Black. Oh, you need to take off your scarf or else you're going to get fired. Oh, when you're going through those kind of things, you have to know who you are. And one of the things that I used to do whenever I would get frustrated was I thought about my higher self, right? And so I always told myself, you're the greatest teacher this world has ever seen. You're the greatest teacher this world has ever seen. And I would say it over and over and over to myself. So in those frustrating moments, I would say, well, if you're the greatest teacher this world has ever seen, what would the greatest teacher do in this moment? Because we're clearly going through a trial right now. This is clearly a test. And however I fail or pass this test is going to be part of my testimony. And so what is it that I want to be able to tell the people to give them advice? Because if I can't overcome this obstacle in this particular kind of way where because I'm representing other people, right? Not only am I this Black woman in this other country, I'm representing America. I'm representing Black people. They've never been around Black women. They've never seen a certain tolerance or any of that. So how I handle this is going to matter, because I know for a fact, because I'm the only one who looks like me, talks like me, dresses like me, and all those things, I know that how I address this is going to be important. And I know that that's how they're going to look at us overall, despite the negative stereotypes that we already have against us. So it's like, in those spaces, how do I convey the truth in a way that is going to be productive to my overall goal and where it is that I want to go? And that's why even when Royalty was speaking, I was just talking about like the importance of knowing yourself and what motivates you, because what motivates you is going to be totally different than what motivates someone else. So having that high aim for yourself, morph into that image. Like, sometimes you have to literally look at yourself. This is what I do. I was listening to a thing with 19 keys and forbidden knowledge, and he was talking about like how he looks at himself, right? And I didn't realize I do this as well, is to look at yourself now as if I'm my own audience, right? So I don't see myself on the screen right now. I see myself watching myself right now. And what is it that I need her to say in this moment? What is it that I need her to say in this interview that's going to inspire me for whatever direction that we're going in?
Mm-hmm.
And looking at yourself from that.
Yes, I feel like that's like a high level of personalization for me, because you're not trying to you actually trying to get to the core issues and the core development structures behind like what's going on. You're not trying to just say something that sounds like it's already been said before, or do something that's already been done before. You're trying to actually inspire yourself while you're trying to inspire others. I mean, that's the best way to go about it. I mean, if you have a business and if you have a business, let's say you have a spa business, whatever, and you go there and you get your feet whatever washed or whatever and everything like that, and you don't like it, you don't like the service, then what makes you think somebody else is gonna like the service? So you put yourself in the place of, I'm going to go into my spa like I don't own it today. And I'm going to walk into my spa and I'm going to see if I enjoy it and act like it's not mine. And I'm going to give myself a true report on if this spa was good or not. So that's the best way to do it, because that's when you actually come up with them great things like, oh, wow, I love this. But I know other people, many people that think like me or whatever, or on the same walk as me or whatever, they're going to be able to enjoy this as well because I genuinely enjoyed it. I'm not looking at it just because it's something that I'm a part of or whatever in the case may be. It's a genuine interest that I have behind what I'm doing. So that's good. That's a magnifying mindset, actually.
And not judging yourself in the process. I think because we judge other people, we judge ourselves in the same way. And that's why we have to be careful about judging other people, because the same way we judge others is the same way we judge ourselves. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the times I think other people I'm super duper hard on myself. So a lot of the times I will punish myself worse than the actual punishment. Or I will give myself, I grew up where my mom gave me an option of, she was like, you want a whooping or you want to be grounded? And I used to be like, I'll take the being grounded. I'm not trying to get that whooping. And in that space, when I was grounded, I wasn't allowed to watch TV. I wasn't allowed to use any of my electronics. All I had was me, books, and just me by myself. So choosing that option all the time, I just found myself by myself reading books and going through different things. And then I started lying to my friends and telling them that I was grounded so I couldn't go outside. And they would be like, why is she grounded? Can she come outside? My mom would be like, she is not grounded. I don't know why she's telling y'all that. And then I'd be like, dang, they were like, you lied to us. And I was like, yeah, because I didn't want to be around y'all. Like when you're constantly in a space, not that I didn't like my friends, I loved my friends, but it was just that when you're constantly in this space where you're constantly other people's support system, which is a beautiful thing, you need time in a safe space for yourself. And what your safe space looks like is important. Because you have to be able to go back somewhere to recalibrate. Like if you're having a bad day, you have a bunch of people who are negative around you. Listen, being a teacher is one of the most, you talk about working with a bunch of Karens. All they do is complain all day. I cannot be around that. I can't, because I don't want that mindset. I don't want to hear, I didn't grow up in an environment where I was told I couldn't do anything. I was told I could be, do, and have whatever it is that I want. It doesn't matter. Well, I grew up where seeing Black female engineers are normal. I didn't realize that wasn't normal until I was talking to one of my partners about a demographic. And I was like, Black female engineer, they got their clearances, let's get it. And he was like, that's not normal. And I was like, in whose world? And like, just evaluate your environment and create your environment. Sometimes it's going to require you to be alone, and you have to be okay with that.
Absolutely. With the way it is, because I think, well, you said something about we 3D and stuff like that. I think people just kind of let the indoctrination of society kind of like literally be the soul of their mindset. You know what I mean? And that's the problem, because they go to school, they get indoctrinated. There's nothing wrong with getting education, but that's not the only thing. There's so much different things outside the elements that education give us. They don't give us the credit. They don't give us the deep spiritual understandings. They don't give us the esoteric. They don't give us the survival. They don't give us, it's so many things they don't give us. They just show us how to be a worker, put us in society and show us how to work under somebody. I mean, that's literally what they do. some of the best places that you can go to, Harvard or whatever, best colleges and all that, they're still going to put you in a position to be under somebody that's a millionaire or a billionaire. They're not going to show you how to be that person. You still have to learn things outside of scholastics to become a great figure in society in different ways. Nothing wrong with scholastics, but let's not act like it's the end all be all. There's so many different bright mindsets that we can utilize and get places in this world. There's so many people that have independent businesses, independent occupations and stuff like that, and just created something from thin air, basically, just straight creativity. So I think it's good to be aware of that. And the school definitely does produce people that are like people that really believe in school. They're gonna have that mindset. Like parents are gonna have that mindset. Like you gotta go to school, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta graduate, you gotta do what the teacher said, you gotta do whatever the principal wants you to do. Just be a principal's pet. Like that's not the answers to life, because you could be a principal's pet till you in the 12th grade. Then after college, you struggling to pay your loans because they ain't teach you how to deal with your credit and how to manage your money and nothing like that. So yeah, I definitely agree with obtaining a mindset that has nothing to do with scholastics, and try to make sure you understand how to balance it. Don't live that life and then be like, oh, this is it. School and all of this stuff is the only way, because it's really not. So
For sure.
yeah. So okay, so we could get into the next question right here, because you said something that I think this is a good time to ask this question. So you said you're hard on yourself just now. That makes me wonder, and why I'm gonna ask this question. You talk about talking more nice to yourself.
Mhm.
How can you explain talking nice to yourself rather than being hard on yourself and being all critical when you don't accomplish something, or being critical when your day is going bad, or being critical when you failed at something? Like how do you work your way towards being nicer to yourself during those events and those time periods?
So, so I did this. I'm gonna tell you about the weight loss journey. When I was 300 pounds, I was super mean to myself. I was very stressed out. I didn't want to be back in America. I didn't want to be here. But I knew that I was called here. And so just because sometimes you follow the call doesn't mean you necessarily want to take it. And during that time, I experienced things that I never thought that I would ever experience, in terms of my self-esteem was so low that I allowed people to disrespect me. And I negotiated on my non-negotiables. And so I ended up descending in consciousness, in a place that I looked around and I was like, wait a minute, where am I? Who are these people around me? And I thought about how I got there, because I was like, why am I'm eating all the right things. I'm eating salads every day. I'm eating fruits every day. Why am I not losing weight? And I did further research on it, went to a herbalist, everything. And the herbalist basically was like, it's your thyroid and stress, right? And so I was like, stress, really? Like that has stuff to do with weight? No way. So I basically made some cutoffs. And I started looking at the people around me, evaluating it. And then I decided, you know what? This person got to go. This person got to go. This person got to go. Cut off, cut off, cut off. My weight starts dropping. Now, I'm also following the 1 meal a day. Okay. So my weight's dropping. I'm not as stressed out anymore, and everything's going down. Well, in that process, I was trying to hate myself into health. And you can't do that. If you do, you're going to get to your desired physical state, but mentally and spiritually, you might bounce right back because you're not developed there. And when you're not developed there, you're not going to have the patience for yourself. You're not necessarily going through the journey to navigate through obstacles and to conquer the journey. You're actually just looking at the result. Like, this is what I want, this is what I'm having. But when you fall in love with that process, I learned to fall in love with that process. I got Kobe Bryant's book right here. This is my favorite book in the world. If y'all don't have it, the Mama Mentality book, I suggest you to get it. I learned a lot from Kobe. And one of the things that Kobe said that changed my life is, he was like, we don't negotiate with ourselves, and the plan is the plan. And he was like, fall in love with practicing, fall in love with the process, fall in love with the little details, the little minute details, fall in love with all of that. Because if you fall in love with the process, by the time the game comes, or by the time it's time to show out or show up, or whatever it is that you have to be in this destination, you're going to dominate whatever space. Because at the end of the day, when I walk in a room, I'm not in competition with anybody. You know, like I'm not worried about what she on or what he on or what. I'm worried about it in terms of how can we work together and collaborate. I'm worried about it in terms of who are you, what's your character, and how can we make our missions, you know, double in speed and make it happen. But I'm not worried about, oh, she don't like you, he don't like you. He okay. What am I supposed to do? Waste my time and sit there and talk to myself? Oh my God, they don't like me. I don't care. I don't care. If you don't like me, go read a book, come back, and you'll probably like me. Because at the end of the day, you can't, I say you can't hate, you just can't hate yourself to health. And when I started loving myself and I started being patient with myself and I started, what I run now, I couldn't even walk. Like what I run now, I could not walk. And when I run down the same path that I was running when I was 300 pounds. So when I can feel myself in progress and I run and get them 3 miles done and I'm still walking around and I'm not sore, you know, like when you're sore every single day for like 2 to 3 years, something happens up here, you know, because you're dedicated. You've been doing it every single day. You've come into this person just through consistency. Let's say it's you taking your courses. And this is the part of education that I've always been obsessed with, is how day one, you can come in not knowing anything. And then day 30, you don't learn all these skills. You know how to operate this, and that, because you studied, you have access to this information and that information, and then you're applying it inside of the outside world, right? So you're studying inside and then you're applying it into the outside world. And that application is what matters. I like to see our brains kind of like a cell phone. Like, what app do I need to go into? What app do I need? So like sometimes in my mind, I'm like, okay, we're immersed in, you know, like when you're working around, me working around millionaires changed my mindset, because what I realized was, oh my gosh, it really is all about the mind. Because when I watch them, they go out and get it. There's no hesitation. It's immediate. You right? It's, oh, we have this to do. They go, like, they're on it. As soon as the phone is done, as soon as the phone call is up, they're on it. Like, there's no waiting time. There's no, I'll do this later.
I was just thinking about that. I was literally just thinking about that. Sorry to cut you off, but that right there is needed, because like that's the mindset that I'm like right now. I'm focused on obtaining that mindset. Like, yo, as soon as I want to do, because I've been seeing how much stuff I got to do. I don't have time to sit around and think about, oh, I want to do this. Let me wait for this day. Let me wait to get this membership when I get this certain amount of money, or let me wait to get this. Let me wait to start this course when I'm relaxed after Friday morning. Like, let me wait to, like, I don't have time for that. As soon as I figure out I want to do something, I have to start to embrace the incremental frustrations that's about to come immediately. Like, it has to start happening, because we don't have time to play around with it and procrastinate. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that that Howard often tells me, so a lot of people don't know, I still own it, own a company. And he asked me to be his COO, which meant that there were some things that I had to put down. And I was like, I'm going from a CEO to somebody else, like working under somebody else, you know? And I was like, you know what, though? I couldn't have a greater leader, because at the end of the day, this is someone who has made money that I've never seen before. When I see certain contracts and I see the amount of zeros, I'm like, I ain't never seen, I don't even know what number this is at first glance, you know? And when I would look at the things, I'm like, oh, and like, you know, being under that strong leadership. I think that a lot of the times everybody wants to be a leader. Everybody wants to be this and that. But I think what truly makes a leader is whoever's the best student. You know, are you being a student of life? Are you being a student of the craft? Are you being a student of yourself? And really understanding yourself, of like asking yourself in those moments, like, why don't I feel like doing this right now? Am I allowing my feelings to conquer my actions right now? And what's going to happen if I don't take this action? Oh, I'm going to be in the same place. I'm not going to make any progress. Do I really need this break, or can I push through it? Because sometimes when you're listening to your body, and they say listen to your body, right? So when you're listening to it, sometimes you might have a whole plan, but listening to your body, you got to make sure that you good in order to perform. Or are you making an excuse for yourself not to do it?
I feel like you should listen to your body when, like, honestly, my opinion, like where I'm at and what I see will get people moving is listen to your body when you're actually like when it's actually a detriment and when it's actually time to see your body. Yo, I've been running so much, my legs feel like they about to fall off. Okay, now you can stop. Like, because you listening to your mind more than you listening to your body. If you're not actually going through, actually enduring like a high level of intensity, you just listening to your brain just bail out more than
This
your brain bail
having
out.
whole
That's
conversations.
all it is. If you're not studying to your eyes, it's
Yeah.
like, yo, these lights, I'm starting to feel dizzy. Then you just stop it early. That's really what it is. That's really what it is. You just want comfort right now. You want your brain. Our brains always want comfort. We get in the water, we automatically thirsty for air as soon as we hop in. So as
That's
soon as you
real.
start studying, you thirsty to just watch TV. You thirsty to just be sun gazing or something, or just relaxing, or just doing something enjoyable, pleasurable. We want to be pleasured at all times.
That's
You
true.
gotta trick your mind into think, man, I don't need this pleasure right now because look, what is it gonna do for me? I'm gonna be happy, I'm gonna enjoy my night or whatever, and then I'm gonna be mad tomorrow because I'm gonna have double the work to do tomorrow. And then I got some other stuff, some other agendas and other things I gotta do because it's not the only thing I'm doing. Now I have to think about that too. I gotta push that back. I gotta put gas in the car. I gotta go take the kids here. I gotta, oh, wait a minute, oh, it's about to get crazy tomorrow if I don't do this. I gotta wait till after Tuesday to do this. Then if I don't do this, nah, I gotta get this done right now. And
Yeah.
I'm sleep tonight. I'm gonna make sure I get sleep though, but no enjoyment for 3 days right now. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Or finding those little things of enjoyment for yourself. Like don't, I would say this is find something that you reward yourself with. You know what I mean? Like, even if it's like something small, or like something that takes 5 minutes, you know, like even if it's just you, you looking at yourself and speaking some type of affirmation to yourself, or setting up just those little tiny rewards. Like, just it doesn't have to be huge. Just something small, that something you desire, or something that you wanted to do, or maybe there's, you know, give yourself a little bit of reward and a
Yeah.
little bit of leeway for sure.
I know I sound a little bit extreme, but yeah,
No, you don't. You don't. You know what? You sound like a man. That's how you sound, like a man. You know, because most men, I'm around a lot of, when I say I'm around a lot of alpha men, and it,
good, good.
you know, like I know what alpha man looks like and sounds like, and you know, that's you. So at the end of the day, there's a certain way, there's it's just straight. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's that there's the aim, there's a purpose, and we getting it done. And it don't matter if I talk nice to myself, if I talk mean to myself, we getting it done. The goal is to get it done. And I think that men are great. One thing that I admire about men is y'all are amazing at separating your emotion from your logic. Because when the logic is 100% fully kicked in, it's like, okay, it doesn't matter if I'm mad in this moment, this is the goal. It doesn't matter if I'm sad in this moment, this is the goal. It doesn't matter if I'm upset in this moment, this is the goal, and we're sticking with it and we're going with it. As a female leader, you know, there's this spiritual, intuitive kind of, you know, practice that has to be had um in order to move forward. So the realm that we exist in is a little bit different. It is going to be a little bit more emotional, but I think having that leadership of that logic is important to get us in the direction that we need to go in. But you, as a female leader, you kind of power that up. And it's almost like gathering the family, like, everybody, come on, come together. Okay, we got everybody together. Take us where we're going, you know?
But you know, I feel like oh yeah, this meeting, we're gonna have to open up another meeting in 3 minutes.
Okay.
So,
Do we go in the same room?
I'm gonna send you a different link.
Okay.
So that helps bring the balance at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The extra emotions and the logic and everything like that, the feminine mind, and then the masculine mind, and then like you knowing how to balance it, you understanding the left and right and everything like that, you know how to balance it. You know, women being around, it brings the extra essence behind things, because you don't need all of that. Like sometimes it's a time to just chill and say, yo, I feel like this right now, and navigate through these feelings a little bit. Sometimes guys don't really do that. We don't navigate through how we feel. We're so busy just running that we don't even navigate our feelings most of the time. And then we find ourselves realizing like, yo, I am dealing with feelings, and now I'm overwhelmed because I have so many I've been holding on my shoulders. And I haven't even been thinking about them because I've been ignoring them, disregarding them, and neglecting myself on some level. And it's sometimes it takes for a woman to be around to make you realize like, yo, you gotta chill for a second. You know, you gotta chill for a second. You overwhelm yourself a lot. You don't even realize it yet, but you're gonna crash. So
absolutely. And most of my clients are males. And at first I was like, I found it weird because I was all about this women empowerment and all these other things. And it would be men hitting me up saying like, yo, I need you to help me with my mind. I need you to help me with this and that. And I'm looking and I'm like, you got this guy, he's super, why you want me? Like, what is it? And what I realized is I remember one of my friends telling me before, I was asking him, I was like, when you get upset, like, who do you talk to? One of my friends, she ended up taking a poll asking Black men specifically, like, when you get upset, who do you speak to? And most of them were like, I play video games, I smoke a blunt, I talk to my mom, or I talk to my grandma, you know? But those were the top answers. And I was like, damn, and y'all got wives, y'all got girlfriends, y'all got all of those kinds of things. So I asked myself in that, and I was like, what is the space that we as women are not creating where these men don't feel comfortable, you know, speaking to us or talking to us or coming to us in a moment of weakness? Like, why do they choose to go to their mom or their grandma or their video games or their weed versus having a conversation with me or with us, you know? And I think whatever that answer is, you know, discussing that with the other person.
Yeah, that's a tough one though. I mean, it all depends on the trust level. You know what I mean?
For sure.
It's hard for men to get vulnerable if they don't feel like, you know, if you're not gonna stay protective about it and not judge them and stuff like that and everything like that. No man wants to be seen weak or feeling like they about to cry or feeling like they out of it, and you're not seeing them with this strong demeanor at the moment and everything like that. They don't want to be judged off that. And a lot of women that are dealing with their lower self and not dealing with their higher self, they find themselves thinking that this moment is who they are and stuff like that, or whatever the case may be. So they don't want to get caught up in that. And I think it really comes from us, just most of us dealing with our lower self and letting the lower self control us. Like, and we think the lower self is it because it's so prideful, it's prestigious, it seems so strong on the exterior, but it really ain't. It's really just an act. It's really not really the best version of yourself. That's what I say. It's not necessarily act. The lower self is not the best version of yourself. I mean, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure.